My name is Tim Walsh, and I've known Pat Bender for more than 25 years. She asked me to take a couple of minutes to talk about the way in which we've worked together to my benefit as a business owner. Since 2003, when I made a big life change decision, I've been an entrepreneur. I own 4 different businesses that are very related, but they're also different. I own a hardwood flooring and contracting business. I own a property management firm. I own an emergency restoration company where we deal with fire and water and the reconstruction issues associated with it. And I also am a real estate investor where I buy and improve property. And my hiring needs in those businesses are diverse. The last thing in the world I have time to do is hire people. It's a critical need in order to grow any business, is to attract and retain really good people. So with the advent of the internet, stop and think about this for a minute. A guy like me could easily and quickly create a job description, throw it up on Craigslist, and in a day or two get 100 responses, 100 resumes. The last thing I have time to do is actually print them, look at them, compare them to the job description, and see who might be a match. So, in order to help me with that process, I've reached out and relied heavily on Pat Bender and her consulting process around that. As much as I would like to not follow a rigid, structured process, I do when I work with Pat. In the essence of time, I can't really describe all the steps in the process, but recently I had a very, very pressing need to replace a key person on my team. And initially I thought that meant a bookkeeper. Turned out it was an assistant and sales support person and a bookkeeper. And I had the need to fill those 2 positions in about 3 days. And when I called Pat, let's just say she wasn't that happy with me. Once I convinced her that I really did have to do this in about 3 days, she said, "Tim, the only chance we have is actually following the process. More important than ever before." So Pat took my job descriptions, benchmarked the positions, helped screen the applicants that came across the Craigslist ad, a bunch of whom on paper seemed to be great candidates, many of whom later on in the process turned out not to be. But Pat used the benchmarking process to help me create the most accurate job description possible. She helped me screen in all the great candidates, screen out the ones that weren't that good a candidate. And then we used her assessment tools to basically, with an uncanny accuracy, determine those people who would be the highest odds candidates to be a perfect fit for the positions I was looking for. The assessments produced very detailed questions that we could ask in the interview process, areas that we could probe into that I wouldn't normally, as a small business owner with no time, come up with on my own. And it really helped us screen in those candidates who would be the best ones for me to hire. Long story short, Pat helped me successfully hire a customer service manager. She's basically my right-hand person, and she helps me in all my sales support and other important business activities. And she also helped me hire a part-time bookkeeper who actually does bookkeeping across my 4 businesses. That process took place about 60 days ago. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be less stressed, and I couldn't feel better about the help that Pat provided me. I wouldn't think for a minute of doing any hiring without using Pat and her assessment tools and really the Holy Grail, which is Pat's expertise as, I call her a behavioral scientist. Her expertise wrapped around her assessment tools and the hiring process. So my advice to you, if you have needs in this area, is spend a few minutes talking to Pat about how she might be able to help you. Thank you.